Hi, my name's Andy Paul. I'm Regional Sales Director for Central and Eastern Europe at Macmillan Education. I've been coming to Georgia since 2011, working on a fantastic project that we've been working on together with the Ministry of Education and Science and together with English Book in Georgia and Unique Learning. Georgia's a fantastic country. I've thoroughly enjoyed coming here. It's been incredibly rewarding both professionally and personally. I've met some brilliant teachers.
The title of this session, How to Teach Secondary Students Without Losing Your Sanity in the Process. Would you agree that teaching teenagers can be a little bit stressful? Sometimes? There's a lot of heads nodding, okay? There are different ways of coping with stress, okay? This is something that you can find in many places, the stress reduction kit. If you look at it, it should be a piece of paper, and what you do is you follow the instructions here, you put it on a firm surface like a wall, okay? You put it on the wall, then you follow the directions, you bang your head against the wall, and then when you are unconscious, you stop, okay? Maybe this is a little bit severe, a little bit too much, okay? It's one way of dealing with stress. The other way is thinking positively, okay? And I don't know if you've ever realized this, okay? That in fact, stress, if you spell it backwards, it is actually desserts, okay? Which is a nice way of thinking. Because the idea of this session really is to try and be as positive as possible about teaching our students, teaching teenagers. And what we will do in this talk, we will look at different areas of teaching and look at either specific activities that you can use in your classes or general approaches to different parts of the lesson. Okay, so there will be a mixture, specific activities and some tips about teaching teenagers. What I've done is to divide the talk into 7 different sections, and the first section is how to start an English lesson. Okay? And in fact, the first activity, more than how to start an English lesson, is how to start the first day of the next term. So when you begin a new class with a new group of students. I hope that in your bag, or maybe you brought, a piece of paper and a pen. Can you just look at your bag and find if you have paper and a pen? Yeah? All I want you to do is, on a piece of paper, can you draw a star approximately this big? Okay? And your star must be similar to my star with 5 points. Okay? So if you could just draw a simple star with 5 points. You don't need any artistic skill to do this, just a simple star. Now, at the top of the star, what I would like you to do, can you write down the name of a place which is important to you? Okay? So it could be a city, it could be a country, it could be a building, okay? It could be a part of a city, but it is important, significant to you for some reason, okay? I'll give you my example. I'm going to write down Toledo in Spain, okay? You write one which is significant for you, personally, okay? Then, the next of the star, can you write down a date which is significant to you, and a name? So the date, it could be a month that you like, for example. It could be a specific date, maybe a birthday or a birthday of somebody who's special to you, maybe a holiday that is special. And the name could be the name of a person, maybe a family, a friend. My examples, I've written the 28th of June, and also the name Jamie. My examples, okay, so I've written a number which is significant to me. I've written number 13. And then finally, a title. The title could be the title of a book, of a song, of a CD, of a film. Okay, but which is significant to you. Okay? My title is Peggy Lane, which is the title of a song. Okay? Everybody has 5 pieces of information? Right, now this activity is a typical icebreaker, okay? So it's like finding out about somebody that you don't know. You don't maybe know much about me. Let's do a demonstration with my examples. I've started with Toledo in Spain. Could somebody shout out any reasons why you think I put Toledo in Spain? I live or lived? Sorry, live or lived? I don't live there. I live close. I live in Madrid. It's one of my favorite places because I wasn't born there, I was born in England. I did work there. I met somebody special there. Who did I meet? My wife. I met my wife, okay, in Toledo in Spain. And my wife is not called Jamie, okay? Let's go, if you like, to the name. Who is Jamie? He is my son, okay? So my son, he's 17, he's going to go to university next year, okay? The 28th of June, 2013. Maybe your dates were in the past, but mine is in the future. What do you think happens on the 28th of June, which is important to me? My holidays begin, okay? Very important date. Very important. The most important thing on my star, okay? The number 13. Is it my lucky number? It's not my lucky number. The number of my children? No. I have a daughter who is 14, but that's it. No, it's actually the number of the house where I live, okay? And I always tell the story that it was very easy to buy my house because nobody wanted the house because it was number 13, yeah? Some people are superstitious. And the last one, Penny Lane. Does anybody know this song? Somebody knows it, okay? Who is it by? The Beatles. Why do you think I put this here? It's maybe not my favorite, but I like it. Maybe, why do you think I like the Beatles? Where are the Beatles from? From Britain. Where in Britain? Liverpool, okay? So I was born in Liverpool. And in fact, Penny Lane is the name of a road, and it's very close to where I lived as a child and where my parents still live now, okay? Those are my 5 pieces of information. What I want you to do now is with the person or the people who are closest to you, you can be in pairs or 3s or 4s, just very quickly, show your star and begin to talk about some of the information. See if your partner or your partners can guess what the information is. Okay? 2 or 3 minutes and then I will stop you. Okay?
Dave Spencer. I'm the author of Gateway, which is a book that's being used here in Georgia thanks to English Book in Georgia and Unique Learning. I'm here for the 3rd Georgian conference, and I've been speaking to teachers about vocabulary teaching and about teaching secondary classes, because Gateway is a book for upper secondary.
Can you think of words that describe how you're feeling right now? So let's start with S. Start with S. How are you feeling now? Surprise. Shy. Sad. Are you feeling sad? How are you feeling? Satisfied. Yes, I don't want you to feel sad. Please don't be sad. Not yet. Satisfied. Any others? Sensitive. That's very nice. Something super over there. That's lovely. So S. T. Words beginning with T. Think about positive things. T. Tired. Just say louder. I mustn't come towards you. Louder. T. T. Okay, yes, nice. Working in the T. Any others? Teachery. Tiredness. values. First, I'd like to say just a little bit about some of the background ideas behind learning style theory. A little bit about research. Secondly, a questionnaire, do together a questionnaire which looks at different learning styles and see if you agree with its diagnosis. And then we'll look at some activities which I hope you'll be able to use in your classrooms, or at least the principle behind the activities, and how looking at learning styles can provide a variety for teachers in classrooms teaching languages. So first of all, a little look at research. There's a very nice quote here, and quotes you'll find on your handouts, which should be in your bag. There are the quotes from that you'll see on the screen. It sounds like it's raining. All the little bags. Do you close your eyes? Can you hear the rain? Teachers are increasingly confronted with not only mixed ability classes, but also the diverse needs of their individual learners. And of course, learners are individual. Isn't that wonderful? It would be terrible if we were all the same. So what can seem at times a very difficult thing to deal with is in fact a wonderful thing if we can look at it positively. And something to help this, spotlighting different learning styles, especially when accompanied by ideas and activities differentiated according to learner preference, can be a very supportive tool. So that's very much the crux of what we think. And learning style theory is currently very popular in English language teaching circles. I'm sure that many of you know about Dr. Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. You know? For those who may not be so familiar, here's just a little quick summary. Gardner has identified, well, in fact, there are 8 here. There is another one, existential intelligence, that is often included, but these are the main ones. The idea that we are all born with innate potential, different types of intelligence, that we all have capacity to develop these. And of course, some people are more inclined to some kinds of intelligence than others. And so, and then even we've got little short forms. Linguistic intelligence is often called word smart. So like, you're obviously very word smart because you all speak great English. Logical mathematical intelligence, number smart, or math smart. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence, so that's body smart. Olympic athletes are body smart, or Wimbledon tennis champions, or music intelligence, music smart. Visual spatial intelligence, that's often called picture smart. Nature smart. Self-smart, interpersonal intelligence, having awareness and understanding of oneself. And the last one, interpersonal intelligence, which would be people smart or group smart.
So I'm Judy Garten-Sprenger, and I'm co-author of Inspiration and New Inspiration, and that's why I'm here in Georgia. And I can honestly say it's one of the most delightful places I've ever visited. Wonderful people, generosity and hospitality. And it's great to be back in Tbilisi in this super teachers centre. Very many thanks to the Ministry of Education and Science for all their support. And very many thanks indeed to English Book, who've made this project possible, and in particular to Maya and to all the staff who've been so supportive and helpful. And not least, I would like to say a big thank you to the wonderful teachers.
ეს არის უნიკალური შესაძლებლობა ქართველი მასწავლებლებისთვის, რომ მათ საშუალება ეძლევათ შექმნენ წიგნების ავტორებს, რომელთაც მოსწავლეები გადიან საქართველოში. მინდა მადლობა გადაუხადო განათლების სამინისტროს Macmillan's ინგლისური წიგნის სახლს საქართველოში. სამუშაო შეხვედრებზე ჩვენ გავიცანით ახალ მეთოდოლოგიას და ჩვენ აუცილებლად ამას პრაქტიკაში განვახორციელებთ, რადგანაც მოსწავლეებისთვის უფრო საინტერესო იქნება ამ ყველაფრის შესრულება, ისინი უფრო მოტივირებული იქნებიან. და უფრო საინტერესოდ გაივლის მთელი საგაკვეთილო პროცესი.
Make the activities personal. Yeah, personalization. So, in my workshop today, people were doing their own ways of saying it in their own way. Autonomy is another very big word in education. Our children are not the same as we were when we were children, and we were not the same as our parents. Children are getting more and more and more autonomous. They want to do things on their own, and they want to prove to you that they know something. They don't feel comfortable always sitting like, and we fill them and say, you will eat what I want you to eat. They want to say, let me do something, let me decide, let me. So give them a chance to find out for themselves and tell each other. Give them a chance to guess before you tell them. Prediction, elicitation. Because every time you tell them the answer, you are stealing the opportunity from them.
I'm Teresa Dogwelly, and I work with Macmillan as a teacher trainer. I've been coming to Georgia for years and years, so I've been working with the teachers at universities, at secondary schools, primary schools, and I think it's really, really good that the Ministry of Education actually is working with the English Book to provide training for teachers, because as we know, books are never enough. The teacher is everything. And so our aim is to make the teachers as flexible as possible, to bring them up to date with the most recent methods and methodology, and to give teachers a passion for teaching.
All this mudroom in the ground, a glacier. I'm sure that we pronounce it differently, don't we, ladies? Do you say glacier? Do you say glacier? Glacier, there we go, yeah. And I think we say glacier, but actually glacier is easier to say. Anyway, it doesn't matter at all. We love each other, Brits and Americans. There's variety. So, here we have a glacier, a hot spring, a volcano, and we also have lava, which comes out of the volcano, and up there I can't read. What is it? Vodka. Vodka? Vodka. Volcano. I said volcano. I was looking at the word right at the top there. Ash. Anyway. Now, could I ask one of you ladies to read out the diary? Just we'll do a little bit and we'll stop. So we got a real native speaker here reading out the diary. No, I said where you are with the microphone. We need your voice. You're just going to read through that, and the rest of the class is
You still haven't got your fly swatters? You wait. I'm going to be back in August, and I'm going to be checking. Right, now, let's start with, because we're always starting from the front, let's start from the ladies here at the back. Pink team, green team. May I invite you to come up here? Would you like to come up, ladies? I'm going to tell you. You are from this side, yes? You were here, she was here. This is the pink team. And at the moment, this is your representative. But you will all have a go. This is the green team, and this is your representative at the moment. Representatives, can you come up to the poster? Stand slightly at each side and face the poster. You are going to be swatting the words. Yes, like that. Bang. No, the word that you hear. So, that lady there, she's your cassette player, your CD player, or a student who is reading. She's going to be reading, and if you hear her say volcano, then you must be the first one to hit the word volcano, and you will get 1 point for your team. Then you will give the fly swatter to another person in your team. So you go. You have a go, then you go, you change the people change and you sit down. First time, yeah. Alright, so you're listening for these words. This guy, use them and always your concentration. Alright? And try to do them first. No, yes, when you see your face, you change. Okay. I don't know, some might not.
I'm going to pronounce it geyser.
Geyser, okay. So, then she's going to pronounce it geyser, okay? Can you, where's geyser? Oh, that's right. First one to hit it will get 1 point. Alright? Okay, here we go. Shh. Because they have to hear each word very carefully. They're going to hit the word that they hear.
Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Sunday, 19th June. Dad and I have just arrived in Iceland, the land of fire and ice. I'm really looking.
Stop. One of the words, I can see them on there that you just said. Say it again. Look at the other words as well, not necessarily under the pictures. Can you read it again?
Dad and I have just arrived in Iceland, the land of fire and ice. Iceland.
And we're also trying to help bring teaching methodology into the 21st century so that our students here in Georgia will learn English better, remember it better, and experience joy in learning. And that's really what we want to do. I have a great relationship with the teachers here. So each year I come, it gets better and better and better. So thank you to the ministry. Thank you for the English book, for organising this very, very essential. And Macmillan, of course, who I work for. This wonderful partnership, the three of us together, I think are doing, you know, one of the best training programs.
Very simple experiment, very simple. What I am going to do, I am going to read out a list of words in English. When I read out the words, you must not write anything down. And I want no cheating. No cheating, no copying. When I finish my list, I want you to write down any words that you remember. Okay? Once again, I will tell you, no cheating. When I read out my list, don't write anything down. I see some very suspicious faces today. Are we ready? Okay, here we go. Phone, horse, apple, cat, ball, school, pineapple, Lady Gaga, lemon, mouse, fog, tennis, cigarette, orange, pear, fog, melon, dog, suitcase. Any words you remember. Don't talk to your partner, okay? It's just to see what you remember. Any words you remember. Does anybody have more than 20 words? No? That's good, because in my list I had 20. If you have more than 20, it shows you have a vivid imagination, okay? How many? 11. 7?
No, 11.
11. 8, right. What I'd like you to do is, after the last word, which you wrote down, after the last word, could you please draw a line? Because what we're going to do the same thing again, but I think it will be interesting for you to see which words you remembered the first time, which you remembered the second time. Okay? So just draw a line to show which that you finished. Perfect? And we're going to do exactly the same thing, the same list. I will read it again. When I read out my list, no writing. And then when I finish, write down any words you remember. Okay, let's go. Phone, horse, apple, cat, ball, school, pineapple, Lady Gaga, lemon, mouse, fog, tennis, cigarette, orange, pear, fog, melon, dog, suitcase. Go. Okay. How many words do you have now?
16.
15?
16.
11. Right now, in fact, it's not actually very important the number of words, okay? What we're going to discover in this experiment is not the number of words, but which words you remembered. Can you put your hands up if you wrote down the word suitcase? Right, if you look, that's a majority. Most people have written down suitcase. Why do you think you wrote it down? Right, it was the last word in my list, and maybe it was the first word that you wrote down, because straight away you wrote suitcase. I'm going to write it down before I forget. Okay? Right, so at the moment, that's typical statistics. Most people remember suitcase. Phone. How many people wrote down phone? It was the first word in my list. Now, this experiment has been done thousands of times, and the results are very typical. Now, we know from memory experiments that phone and suitcase, in this case, we remember them because first and last. And if we think even maybe of films, that we tend to remember maybe the start and the end. And apparently, in lessons, the students remember better the things at the start and at the end. The problem is that in the middle of the class, they fall asleep and don't remember anything. Okay? But in theory, the start of our class and the end of our class are very, very memorable. How many people wrote down Lady Gaga? Right, you can predict that everybody...
She's famous.
Why though? Why?
She's famous.
She's famous?
She's a singer.
Strange, exactly. The word is, in this case, it's strange because it's a name, it's the only name, it's the name of somebody who's famous, and even the name sounds a little bit funny. Okay?
And her appearance.
What does this mean in terms of memory? Very, very important. It means that anything we do in our lessons also, which is out of the ordinary, unusual, not the typical thing that we do, our students will remember it better. And I'm sure that you can think of maybe this year, and your students also, that maybe one day, for some reason, you did something different. Maybe it was a text that they particularly liked because it was not the usual text. Maybe you did a song. Maybe you did something about jokes. Maybe you did a particular game that they really liked. That is important because it's not just the activity, it's the fact that the activity is memorable. Okay? And I hope that I'll show you some games afterwards that would be for your students a little bit out of the ordinary and that can help them to remember. A little bit like Judy, I think this morning, she did a dictation with colours. That's slightly out of the ordinary, and so that would probably for your students very memorable. Okay? So, Lady Gaga, we all remembered. This is very important, okay? I'm sure you have some different types of fruit. But if you look at the question says, did you write them down next to each other? Did anybody do that? Nobody? If you look at your list, did, yeah? If you look at your list, you might have 2 or 3 types of fruit next to each other. How many do you have? 2, 3? 3, okay. Now, this is fascinating in terms of memory. What you maybe do not know is that when I read out my list, I never ever said 2 types of fruit next to each other. But you, many of you, wrote them down together, next to each other in the list. Why? Association. The meaning. As soon as you remember apple, maybe you remember pineapple, or maybe you remember melon, or maybe you remember orange. Okay? That is very, very important. That is why we teach vocabulary together in groups of meaning. Because if they remember 2 or 3 types of transport, they will probably remember another type of transport, and another, and another. That is why we teach words together. Okay? And the interesting thing is that this is happening in your mind subconsciously. Nobody told you to write down the fruit together, but your brain automatically did it. Okay? In fact, you might want to look at your list for a second now, because sometimes it's actually not. It's quite common that somebody puts a type of fruit which I've never even said. The other day somebody was telling me you said cherry, but I never said cherry, okay? So have a look at, again, because you're thinking of fruit, you think, right, he said melon, maybe he said cherry, or strawberry, okay? Another very important question. Did you write down this word or this word? First or second? Most of you will probably have written the first one, but the pronunciation of this and this is exactly the same. Why? Why did you write down the first one? Association again, okay? So your brain unconsciously is going fruits, apple, pear, orange. But for example, if in my list I had individual, group, pair, you're probably going to write the second one, yeah? Because your brain is thinking about individual work, group work, pair work, teamwork, okay? So, in that case, your brain subconsciously makes the connection, okay? Now, how many people wrote down fog? That's a lot of people, and fog is not a very memorable word, is it? Because association with England, maybe. This teacher is telling me twice. Maybe you don't realise, apart from you, but not many people realise, it was the only word which I repeated in my list. I read it twice. Okay, the only one. That, for me, is the key to the whole of this talk. Repetition. As I said before, I can teach 10 words on Monday, and 10 words on Tuesday, and 10 words on Wednesday, but if I don't keep on repeating frequently, there is no way that my students will remember. No way. So with fog, we remember it. Not a very memorable word, but we remember it maybe because of frequency. We hear it once, we hear it twice, we hear it 3 times. And I would say your students will never remember the vocabulary unless they see it once, then again, and maybe a 4th time. Okay? So, very important. Repetition, frequency. Now, there are lots of other types of associations that maybe you made. These were all words in my list. If you remember tennis, maybe, again, you made an association, tennis ball. Cat and mouse. Many people remember cat and mouse or cat and dog, yeah? Melon and lemon, because the letters are similar. And also the types of fruits. Apple and pineapple, because it's the repetition almost of the word. And also, very important, fog and dog, because of the rhyme. In fact, in Pablubi this week, another teacher was saying, you said frog. And I never said frog, okay? But again, maybe because of the rhyme, she said that she remembered fog because I said frog and fog. But it's actually fog and dog, okay? Rhyme. And if you teach primary children, we always use poems, rhymes, chants, songs, because the rhyming is very, very memorable. Yeah? Now, another interesting one. How many people wrote down cigarettes? Do you smoke? Statistically, there is more chance that you will write down cigarettes if you smoke. And this is very important again, personal association. I said before, when we teach, for example, the present perfect, all of our students more or less remember it or forget it in the same way. With vocabulary, it makes a big difference if the student is interested in the group of words. If I have a group of maybe 70-year-old students, maybe they will not remember very well words connected with the internet and email because maybe they don't use the internet and the email. I teach the same group to my teenagers and they will probably remember more just because they are interested and it is relevant. If I teach 15 types of flowers to my students, I don't think they will remember them because they don't really care much about different types of flower. This sounds silly, but I think it's true, that basically the more relevant to the students, the more they will remember. So if your students love tennis, they will probably write down the word tennis. If you have a student who loves horse riding or has a horse, they will remember the word horse. The more relevant, the more they will remember. The next one is very interesting. Can you put your hand up if you wrote down school? Look around the room. Is this as many as Lady Gaga? So we all remember Lady Gaga, but only probably less than half remember school. Why? I think there are two possible reasons. One is that it's the opposite of Lady Gaga, because Lady Gaga is unusual, out of the ordinary, and for us, school is exactly the opposite. It's part of our lives of every day, so we forget it. The other one is that, as you say, subconsciously you are trying to forget school because you're on holiday and you want to forget it, yeah? That's another possibility.
This is my third time in Georgia, third time in Tbilisi, and we've also been in Batumi and Kutaisi. And it's always a pleasure to be here in Georgia. In fact, I've been traveling to about 23 countries this year, the last 2 years, and it's always a pleasure really to come here to Georgia to speak to teachers. It's always a pleasure to help teachers to start planning their classes more so that they're more entertaining, more interesting for their students and more motivating. And it's always a pleasure because the teachers are always so interested in what you have to say here.
დღევანდელი კონფერენციიდან რომელშიც ჩვენ წარმოგვიდგნენ თვითონ წიგნის ავტორები, გაგვეცნეს ექტივიტები, სხვადასხვა სტრატეგიები და მიდგომები, რომელიც ჩვენ შეგვიძლია გამოვიყენოთ და დავნერგოთ მოსწავლეებთან მუშაობის დროს, რაც მათ უფრო აუმაღლებს მოტივაციას, უფრო ჩართულს გახდის სწავლის პროცესში.
For some teachers, this is a risky thing that I'm going to do now, a musical dialogue, but the result is very high motivation from the learners. So, are you prepared to take a risk if you think you're going to motivate your students very, very much? That's the question. Okay, we'll do it now, and then you can tell me what you think.
Excuse me, can you tell me the way to the school?
Yes. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
You were beautiful. And you, well done to you, you were very empathetic. Yesterday, Kutaisi, I wanted you, went, don't look at me, I'm not Georgian. Oh my God. Okay.
Another kind of music, another kind of... Ready for the second one? Why are you laughing? Yes, I'm lost. Okay. All right. What else? You can't see? Speak up, somebody, for goodness sake.
Go straight on and the school is on flipped.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Goodbye, you little snivelling words.
ძალიან კარგი კონფერენცია იყო, განსაკუთრებულად მინდა დიდი მადლობა გადაუხადო საქართველოს განათლებისა და მეცნიერების სამინისტროს ინგლისურ წიგნს საქართველოში. ძალიან ბევრის მომცველი და ბევრის მთქმელი იყო ეს კონფერენცია და მინდა აღვნიშნო, რომ ყოველწლიურად მეტად და მეტად საინტერესო ხდება თითოეული კონფერენცია ჩვენთვის მასწავლებლებისთვის. ბევრის მომცველი და აუცილებლად გამოვიყენებთ თითოეულ თანამედროვე სწავლების მეთოდს ჩვენს საკლასო ოთახებში და გაკვეთილებზე.
I'm so tired. Please finish. I'm so tired.